Hello everyone, welcome back to your channel vegyanghar. In this video, we will talk about the Section B and Section C of IIT JAM 2019 Biotech paper. Section B, that is the MSQ section, has 10 multiple select questions. That means one or more than one choices will be correct out of the 4 given choices. There is no negative and no partial marking. The question 31 to question 40 of the paper would belong to this section and carry 2 marks each. That makes this section a total of 20 marks. So let's begin. Pick the correct statement with respect to the interconversion of topoisomers of circularly closed double-stranded DNA. Now, topoisomerase 1 causes single-stranded DNA breaks, while topoisomerase 2 causes double-stranded DNA breaks, and ATP is also required for the interconversion. Therefore, in this case, options A, B, and D are correct. The next question says, let U be a set of numbers from 1 to 15. Let P be a subset of U that consists of all prime numbers. Q be a subset of U that consists of all even numbers, and R be a subset of U that consists of all multiples of 3. Let T be a subset such that it is P minus Q. Then which of the following is or are correct? Now we will write all the subsets as per the given information. So T union R contains these many elements, so it contains 9 elements, right? And T intersection R contains only one element, that is 3. So we find that the number of elements in T is 5, in T union R it's 9, and in T intersection R it is 1. So option A and C here are correct. The next question says, let fx be x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 3 into x minus 4. And let alpha be f of 3 by 2, beta be f of 5 by 2, gamma be f of 7 by 2, then which of the following are correct? So for alpha, when we put the value of 3 by 2, it comes out to be negative. For beta and for gamma, it is positive and negative respectively. So when we multiply alpha and beta, negative into positive is again negative. Beta gamma, positive into negative is again negative. So option B and D are correct. That means alpha and gamma have same signs, and alpha beta and beta gamma also have the same sign. The next question is, the characteristic oxygen binding profile of hemoglobin shown below arises due to the quaternary structure. Yes, hemoglobin has a quaternary structure. Subunit dissociation, there is no dissociation of the subunits of the hemoglobin. Cooperativity, yes. Conformational change, yes. So option A, C and D are correct. The advantages of storing chemical energy in the form of starch and not as free glucose is that it minimizes diffusion, yes, definitely. Enables compact storage, yes. It reduces osmotic pressure, yes. It protects against the chemical reactivity of aldehyde groups, yes, because aldehyde groups are present in glucose but not in the form of starch. So all the options given here are correct. Moving on. Which of the following cell types can develop from the myeloid lineage? Now, as you can see in the figure as well, apart from B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, all the other cells are from myeloid lineage only. So option A and D in this case are correct. The next question says, electromagnetic waves carry energy, yes. Momentum, yes. Are transverse in nature while traveling in vacuum? Yes. They do not need a material medium to travel? Also yes. So in this case also all the given choices are correct. Which of the following statements is or are true? In intrinsic semiconductors, the number of electrons is equal to the number of holes at any temperature. Yes, that's true. An intrinsic semiconductor changes to an N-type semiconductor upon the addition of a trivalent element. No, it changes to an N-type semiconductor upon the addition of a pentavalent element. That is when it will have an additional electron that will contribute to the N-type semiconductor. The shape of the IV characteristics of a PN diode is a straight line. No, you can see here, this is the graph for the IV characteristics of a PN diode. Option D, in the reverse bias condition, the current in a PN diode is due to minority character. Yes, it's a true statement. So in this case, option A and option D are correct. The next question says, BF3 readily reacts with. Now, boron trifluoride is one of the strongest Lewis acids. It is an electron pair acceptor. So it can readily react with a chemical that contains oxygen, nitrogen, or any other electron pair donor, right? So in this case, option A and D will be correct because there's nitrogen present and it has a lone pair of electrons which can donate to boron trifluoride. Moving on. The reaction of R2-bromobutane with cyanide ion proceeds by. So as you can see, it is an SN2 reaction and there is inversion of the configuration. So option B and option D are correct. S2-methyl butene nitrile is produced in the reaction. Moving on to the section C, that is the numerical answer type. This section contains a total of 20 numerical answer type questions. For these questions, the answer is a real number which needs to be entered using the virtual keyboard on the monitor. No choices will be shown for these type of questions. The question 41 to question 60 of the paper belong to this section and carry a total of 30 marks. Question 41 to 50 carry 1 mark each and question 51 to 60 carry 2 marks each. There is no negative marking, right? So let's begin. C3 plants utilize 18 molecules of ATP to synthesize 1 molecule of glucose from CO2. How many molecules of ATP equivalents are used by C4 plants to synthesize 1 molecule of glucose from CO2? Now, C4 plants are very much more efficient as compared to the C3 plants, and C4 plants require 30 molecules of ATP to synthesize 1 molecule of glucose. So the answer will be 30. So you simply have to type 30 in the answer. A 0.1% weight by volume solution of a protein absorbs 20% of the incident light. What fraction of light is transmitted if the concentration is increased to 0.4%? So absorption, as we know, is equal to log I naught by I, where I naught is the incident light and I is the transmitted light. Now in this case, when the concentration is 0.1%, it absorbs 20% of the incident light. So it will transmit the remaining 80% light. So log 100 by 80 is equal to epsilon 0.1 into 1. When the concentration is increased to 0.4%, log I naught by I is equal to epsilon 0.4 into 1. So I naught by I, when you divide equation 1 by 2, will come out to be 2.39. And transmittance is the opposite of absorbance, so it is I by I naught, which is equal to 0.41. The answer will be in between 0.40 to 0.42. So 0.41 is the absolutely correct answer. Moving on. Let X, Y, Z be an equilateral triangle and let PQR be the midpoints of a YZ, XZ and XY respectively. Let R be equal to the area of triangle PQR divided by triangle XYZ, then the value of R is. So you can see here in the triangle XYZ and triangle PQR, the area of triangle PQR will be root 3 by 4, A by 2 whole square and the area of triangle XYZ will be root 3 by 4 into A square, because the side of triangle PQR is A by 2 while the side of triangle XYZ is A. So in this case it will be 1 by 4 or 0.25. The value of R is 0.25. Moving on. Heterozygous female fruit flies with grey body and purple eyes were mated with homozygous males with black body and red eyes. The number of offsprings obtained and their phenotypes are shown below. Calculate the recombination frequency. So in this case, the number of recombinants are grey body and red eyes and black body and purple eyes. So the recombination frequency is equal to number of recombinants divided by total progeny into 100. So the number of recombinants are 61 plus 55, that is 116, and the total progeny comes out to be 763. So recombination frequency is 116 divided by 763 into 100, that is 15.20. So answer could be anything between 15.0 to 15.4 as per the answer key. So 15.20 is absolutely correct answer. Moving on to the next question. Proinsulin is an 84 residue polypeptide with 6 cysteines. How many different disulfide combinations are possible? So any 2 cysteines, if taken together, will form a disulfide bond. So out of 6 cysteine, we have to take any 2 cysteines, and the probability of that is 6C2. That is 6 factorial divided by 4 factorial into 2 factorial. That comes out to be 15. So the answer here is 15. The next question says, the refractive index of a liquid relative to air is 1.5. Calculate the ratio of the real depth to the apparent depth when the liquid is taken in a beaker. So refractive index N is itself equal to real depth upon apparent depth, or H by H dash. It's 1.5. So this ratio is itself equal to the refractive index, that is answer is 1.5. The next question is, a metallic wire of electrical resistance 40 ohm is bent in the form of a square loop. The resistance between any 2 diagonally opposite corners is dash ohm. So in this case, when you solve the 2 10 ohm resistors, you will find it to be 20 because they are in series. And then when you solve these 2 resistors that are 20 and 20 that are in parallel, the equivalent resistance will come out to be 10 ohm. So the answer is 10. The next question says, the number of lone pairs of electrons in NO2F is. So you can draw the structure, electron.u structure of NO2F, and it will be like this. So you can count the number of lone pairs. It is 8 lone pair of electrons. So the answer for this question is 8. The next question says, the total number of multiplet peaks in H1 NMR spectrum of 135 tri-isopropyl benzene in CdCl3 is. Now, you can draw the structure. This is 135 tri-isopropyl benzene. Count the number of equivalent hydrogens. So we have this group of hydrogens. Then we have this that we have labeled as B. Then we have another group of equivalent hydrogens, C. But you can see in this case that for C group of hydrogens, there is no neighboring atom, no neighboring hydrogen on the neighboring atom. So it will have a singlet peak. But the rest, that is for A group hydrogens and B group hydrogens, we will have multiplet peaks. So the total number of multiplet peaks will be 2. Moving on to the next question. A schematic representation of restriction fragment length polymorphism, or RFLP analysis, of a sample population is shown below. The number of people exhibiting a given pattern is indicated above the lanes. Calculate the frequency of 6.5 kb allele. So for frequency of 6.5 kb, you can see that the number of people that exhibit this allele are 8, 20 and 30. So you add the number of people who exhibit this allele divided by the total population, that is 100. So it comes out to be 41 divided by 100, that is 0.41. The answer here can be any value between 0.40 to 0.42. The next question is, integrate 0 to pi by 2 x sin x dx. Now you will find that on integration it comes out to be pi by 2 cos pi by 2 plus sin pi by 2 minus 0 cos 0 plus sin 0. So it comes out to be 1. The answer is 1. Moving on. Phosphoglucoisomerase catalyzes the following reaction: glucose 6-phosphate to fructose 6-phosphate. If 0.05% of the original concentration of glucose 6-phosphate remains at equilibrium, then the equilibrium constant of this reaction is, so initially let's assume that the concentration of glucose 6-phosphate is X and fructose 6-phosphate is 0. Now it says that at equilibrium 0.05% of the original concentration of glucose 6-phosphate remains. So we will write 0.05 x by 100. So the fructose 6-phosphate will be 99.95 x by 100, that is 99.95% of the initial population of glucose. K equilibrium is the concentration of product divided by concentration of reactant. So it comes out to be 1999, that is 1999. So the answer for this question is 1999. Moving on. In a bacterium, a mutation resulted in an increase of Ks, that is substrate specific constant, for ammonium from 50 micromolar to 5000 micromolar without affecting the mu max or the maximum velocity. The specific growth rate of mutant growing on 0.5 millimolar ammonium in the medium decreases by a factor of. So we know mu is equal to mu max or the maximum growth rate into the substrate concentration divided by Ks, substrate specific constant, plus the substrate concentration. So when Ks is equal to 50 micromolar or 0.05 millimolar, the mu or the growth rate is mu max into 0.5 divided by 0.05 plus 0.5. When the Ks is 5000 micromolar or 5 millimolar, the mu changes. So the ratio comes out to be 10. It decreases by a factor of 10. Moving on. The total number of DNA molecules present after 5 cycles of polymerase chain reaction or PCR, starting with 3 molecules of template DNA is, so the total number of DNA will be A into 2 raised to the power n, where A is the template DNA molecules and n will be the number of PCR cycles. So it will be 3 into 2 raised to the power 5 because it's given that there are 5 cycles of PCR. So 3 into 32, that is 96. So the answer comes out to be 96. The next question says, two identical infinite conducting plates are kept parallel to each other and are separated by a distance d. The uniform charge densities on the plates are plus sigma and minus sigma. The electric field at a point between the two plates is n, sigma by epsilon, where n is dash and epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. So in this case, we know electric field is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. For a point between the two plates, the electric field from the plate 1 and from the plate 2 will both be in the same direction. So the net electric field will be E1 plus E2, that is sigma upon epsilon naught plus sigma upon epsilon naught, which comes out to be 2 sigma upon epsilon naught. So in this case, N will be 2. The answer is 2. The concentration of NaCl in millimolar formed at the stoichiometric equivalence point when 10 ml of 0.1 molar HCl solution is titrated with 0.2 molar NaOH solution is. So we know M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2. So 0.2 molar NaOH reacts of volume V reacts with 0.1 molar and 10 ml of HCl. So the volume of NaOH used will be 5 ml. So the total volume becomes 15 ml. The number of moles here is 0.001. So the molarity of NaCl or the concentration of NaCl is number of moles into volume in liter, or in, if this is ml, so it is 1000 divided by 15 ml, which comes out to be 0.0667 molar or 66.67 millimolar. So the answer in this case can be any value between 65 to 67. Moving on to the next question. The standard EMF of a cell in volt involving the reaction 2Ag plus to Ag plus Ag2 plus at 298 Kelvin is. Now it is given that the EMF for Ag plus to Ag is 0.62 and for Ag2 plus to Ag plus is 0.12. So the Ag plus to Ag will act as a cathode because it has a higher electrode potential, and for Ag2 plus to Ag plus will act as an anode. We know that the E0 cell is equal to E0 cathode minus E0 anode. So the standard EMF of the cell will be 0.62 minus 0.12, that comes out to be 0.50 volt. So the answer is any value between 0.49 to 0.51, that is 0.50. The next question says, let A be 4i cap minus 2j cap plus 6k cap, B be a vector 7i cap plus j cap minus 12k cap, and if A cross B is equal to alpha I cap plus beta j cap plus gamma k cap, then the value of alpha plus beta plus gamma equals. So we have to find A cross B, that comes out to be 18i cap plus 90j cap plus 18k cap. So alpha here is 18, beta here is 90, and gamma will be 18 again. So alpha plus beta plus gamma is 18 plus 90 plus 18, that is 126. The answer is 126 for this question. Moving on. This is the last question for today. An infinitely long solenoid of radius r and the number of turns per unit length n carries a steady current I. The ratio of magnetic fields at a point on the axis of the solenoid to a point r by 2 from the axis is. Now, the formula for magnetic field inside the solenoid is B is equal to mu naught Ni. So the magnetic field is proportional to the applied current I and the number of turns per unit length N. So you can see here that there is no dependence on the diameter or the radius of the solenoid. So the field strength does not depend on what position it is inside the solenoid. The field inside the solenoid is constant. So the ratio of magnetic fields at a point on the axis of solenoid to a point r by 2 from the axis is 1 because it is a constant field. So answer is 1. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.